Hi, everyone. Welcome to Soul Traits Live this Saturday morning. I have a special guest, Karen A., that's on today, and she's going to be talking about the grace of recovery. And I'm so looking forward to listening to her words and what she has to say. And I'm just going to bring her on, and I'll introduce her just a little bit more, and then I'll have her introduce herself. Hey, Karen.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. So there's a funny story that I just want to tell everybody that just happened as we were backstage. And Karen and I have actually known each other for a long time. We've known of each other, but we have never met face to face. And we were kind of doing the math of how long we've known each other, and it's 18 years. And this is like officially the time that we're meeting face to face, but it's on camera face to face. Both Karen and I are in an industry. I don't know if people know about myself. I was in what is called the optical industry for over 30 years. And this is how I met Karen 18 years ago, was on this, it's called OptiBoard. And I would go there to help me with a lot of technical questions that I had about the job that I was doing. Because there was some amazing geniuses that were on this site, and if you're having any type of calculation issues or anything like that, you can just go there, ask a question, and get the answers. So 18 years ago, I met Karen there, and it's just such a joy to have her here on Soul Treats. And I'm going to have you introduce yourself, and I'll go backstage. And during this live, if anybody has any questions, today's not a reading day, just to make people aware. I know everybody likes to come on and get a reading, but that's not what we're doing today. But if you have any questions, please post them so that I can post them for Karen, and so that she can assist you in any way that she can. Also, I just want to let you know there is a donation link that's up. And the reason why it's up is because when we offer these things, there is a bit of an energy exchange. So if you're getting valuable information for this, it's just an exchange of energy. But the donations for this particular broadcast, I just want to let you know, it'll be utilized to be passed out to people who are needing funds to kind of help them in their lives right now. So if you are wanting to donate, the PayPal link is there. It's open donations. So if you want to send $1, 50 cents, whatever you want to do, it would be greatly appreciated and distributed to people who actually need the money. So without further ado, I'm going to pop off, and I'll see you in a little bit.
All right.
Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks for asking me. Well, hello, whoever's out there watching this. Thank you for jumping on. My name's Karen, and Michelle asked me a little while back if I would come and spend some time with you guys and talk a little bit about, today I actually celebrate 26 years of continuous sobriety. And it's pretty much been a life-changing experience in a lot of amazing and fantastic ways. And there are a lot of ways to get sober. There are a lot of ways to stay sober. I do want to say that I'm not here to tell anybody how to do that. I'm here to talk about how I did it, and kind of just share the message that if you're struggling with any sort of addiction, whether it be alcohol, drugs, food, pornography, like whatever, there are lots of things out there that we can get addicted to. But if you're struggling with any of those things and you're ready to not be struggling with them anymore, that there are options and there is hope and there is a way, there's a way out. There's a way out. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my backstory, about what it was like before I got sober. And then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what my life is like today and why I continue to stay sober. So I grew up in an interesting household. My parents are, my father's pretty much a functioning alcoholic, and my mom has some opiate issues. My family tree is full of addiction. It's just full of it. I personally believe that there's a genetic component to that. I think there's some science that supports it, and I have plenty of life experience with other people that I know that supports it. So I grew up in a house where plenty of that stuff was happening, but we all looked great on the outside. My parents it's very important to them how things on the outside look. So we didn't talk a lot about any of that stuff. My mom's parents both died alcoholic deaths, one at a younger age and one at an older age. And my exposure to people who were addicted was I really was confused about what an addicted person looked like. Like my grandmother, my mom's mom was, by the time I met her, she had injured herself while drunk. She'd had a brain surgery. She had a shunt. She had some pretty serious short-term memory loss. And my experience with people who were addicted were that they were crazy, or that they were homeless, or that they were on the streets, or that they, sat behind the liquor store next to a dumpster with a brown paper bag. And I didn't really understand how addiction can affect anybody at any level, at any place, at any time, it doesn't respect gender or success or race or creed or anything. It just, addiction will, whoever it can get its hands on, it will take and gladly strangle the life out of. So I did not experiment very much with drugs or alcohol in high school. My father was very, very strict. I was very afraid of him. So if although when I did experiment in high school, I always did too much, too fast, and got into trouble. And I left my home when I was 18 because my mother and I had a pretty not fabulous relationship. And all of a sudden I was on my own and I was unsupervised. And I met some people that did a lot of things that were dangerous and stupid and silly. And that sounded like a great idea. And I joined them, and I found this, what I thought was freedom. I found what I thought was an escape. I found, I felt like I fit in, and that was not something that I felt a lot of growing up. We moved a lot when I was little. I had to start over a lot of times. It was kind of a crazy, crazy upbringing. So quickly, I first discovered methamphetamine. I like things that make me awake and alive and fast and fun and all that stuff. And I did that a lot for a long time. And all that really did was accelerate my drinking. And then after a really bad experience where I almost got left behind out at Lake Havasu, I decided maybe I should stop that stuff. And I started drinking more and just kept going. And basically, by the time I was 27 years old, I've been divorced 3 times. I had a baby that didn't belong to any of those gentlemen. I frequently went home with strange men, came to in strange places, and honestly just wanted to die. I just wanted to die. And I was too scared to do it myself. So I thought maybe if I could pick the right stranger to go home with, he'd do it for me. And there was an emptiness and a shame and a guilt and a sense of despair that just followed me everywhere. It just followed me everywhere. And I got into trouble. I got arrested for driving under the influence, which honestly I did a lot. I'm very, very fortunate that I never hurt myself or anybody else. And as a result of going to court and sitting in front of a judge, he sentenced me to 2 12-step meetings and a 3-month class on alcohol awareness, and they tell you for those 3 months that you're not supposed to drink. And I had never tried to stop drinking. It had never occurred to me that I needed to stop drinking. Like I just, if I could just get the right job, the right this, the right that, it would all work out. And the teacher of the class challenged me. I told him I wasn't going to stop drinking, and he challenged me. He said, if you can't go 3 months without having a drink, something's wrong with you. And I just said, I can quit anytime I want to. I've just never tried. So I went home that night determined to not take a drink. My son was 3. My significant other worked in the restaurant business. He was never home at night. It was perfect. He had no idea how much I drank or when I drank, or he'd come home and poke me awake and roll me into bed, and I'd come to the next morning and go to work and start all over. So I came home that night determined not to drink. I wasn't going to do it. I'm strong, I'm smart, I'm sassy. Like this is just a matter of will. I'm not going to do it. And I found myself, to my utter disgust, shame, and dismay, putting my kid in the car and going across the street and getting something to drink. So I walked into a 12-step meeting. If you're watching this and you're a member of a 12-step program, you know that we have some rules about how you're supposed to behave at this level as far as anonymity and things like that. So I'm trying very hard to be respectful of that. That's very important to me. So I'm not going to get into the specific details of that, but I walked into a 12-step meeting and found people that thought and felt just like I did, and immersed myself in a fellowship of like-minded people that were successfully not drinking one day at a time. And there are lots of suggestions and things to do in that fellowship, and I started doing them, and I found that my life changed. And there are some things involved in that, as far as taking an inventory of yourself and figuring out, like I had some issues. I had some causes and conditions that I was covering up with substances. And what for me has worked is to take a moral inventory of myself and get to the bottom of those issues, come to terms with what those things are, clean up the wreckage that I've made, and try as a grown woman to act like a decent member of society, and continue to not drink or use. And the reason I picked the topic, the grace of recovery, is that everybody has a different spiritual experience or relationship with their creator, or whatever they choose to call their creator. And I certainly don't want to, I'm not here to tell anybody how or what to believe about that stuff. For me, there is a divine force in the universe that I choose to call God, that wants me to be happy, joyous, and free, that wants me to be successful, that wants me to take the experiences that I've had that haven't been fantastic and share them with other people, to let them know that there are ways out and alternatives. And so what I discovered is that, like, the grace of God will take up as much room as I give it. So if I give God this much room, he'll take that. He'll happily take that and get in there and do what he can with what I give him. But the more room I make, the more space he'll take up. And what I had to do to make that room was to get rid of some of these old things that I was carrying around. I was riddled by fear. It turns out, after I'd been sober about 15 years, that I discovered that at about 8 years old, I'd been molested by a neighbor. Nobody had ever talked about it, and I sort of just covered it up explained a lot about some of the choices that I was making lifestyle wise. But like there were these things in there. There was that original trauma. There were things, excuse me, on top of the trauma to try and cover and mask that trauma. There were a lot of things in there that I needed to uncover and dig out and expose to the sunlight, and then let go. Carrying those things around with me was heavy, and it was just something, even though I didn't even know that they were exactly in there, it definitely was causing me to want to cover things up. So in this process that I go through in the fellowship that I belong to, we sit down and we make lists of resentments, and we make lists of fears, and we make lists of the people that we've harmed. And what I end up doing is coming up with a list of these defects of character that show me what my patterns were, and then as I move forward through the rest of the process, it shows me how to be more aware of those things and make different choices when those life circumstances come up again. So I've had the opportunity to apologize to three ex-husbands, to the father of my the biological father of my son. I've had the opportunity to rectify my relationship with my parents, which has definitely been a journey. Michelle's walked through some of that with me in the last year, helping me see some things and open up some things that I hadn't seen previously. And it's just so what I have today is all this room for grace that he comes in and fills all the time. But also what I have to do is maintain that room and that space. I have to keep doing some basic things to make sure that my side of the street is clean, that I'm not going out acting like a scared, sad little girl like I used to. That and the other thing that's very important to me is sharing my experience, strength, and hope with other people. Like I have this great gift, but if I want to keep it, I have to share it with other people. I have to give it away. I have to let people know that if they're like I am, if they have issues, that there are things that they can do and steps that they can take and processes that they can go through to free themselves from that. And so as a result of that, I've been able to 26 years, one day at a time, not pick up a drink, which is pretty exciting. And if that was all that I got, like if all that I got from all those experiences was just sober, I mean, that's not a terrible thing to be. But to me, it's so much more than that. Like I have my mind is quiet. I have an inner peace. I do things that are esteemable. So my self-esteem is it's not always great, but it's in much better shape than it was when I got here. And I don't go out and take emotional hostages and drag them through the day with me. Like there are just so many benefits that have come from getting honest with myself about who I am, about what makes me make the choices that I make, and how I can make different choices to not put myself in those positions any longer. So I'm happy to announce that I've been successfully married to the same man for next year. It'll be 25 years. He's amazing and fantastic. My oldest son, who is 29 years old, is also sober. Again, I think it's a family thing. And a few years back, he had enough, thank goodness. And we have a 18-year-old son who so far seems to be a normal, well-adjusted child, which is exciting and fantastic. But the good news is if he ends up in a spot where addiction is an issue for him, he's seen an example in myself and in my son of that there's hope and that there are ways to overcome those things. So yeah, I love that I'm here on my sobriety birthday talking about this stuff. I got up early this morning and went and hung out with some of my friends and had some cake and we celebrated, and I'm gonna drag my hot husband out of town tonight and we're gonna spend some alone time together, which is lovely. And it's just it's pretty miraculous. I am a miracle, and I sit in places with a lot of other miracles. So if there are questions, if there are things you want to know, if they're I'm happy to answer questions. I'm happy to, if there are pieces of the story that you want some more information to, I'm happy to do that. Like whatever I can do to help, I'm here to do. So thank you all so much for coming on and listening. I appreciate it. And let's see what happens next.
Yeah, we've got quite a few people here. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Having a father who OD'd on heroin as I was a teenager was quite tragic. So I just want to let you know that you're this amazing soul, this shining star that I love when you do your lives and you have these different perspectives on everything. And it really kind of opens me up a little bit more going, I never thought about it that way. So it's a blessing to have you here, Karen. And let's see, we've got Krish that's here. Hi, Krish. Thanks so much for being here.
Hi, Krish.
We've got Jessica. She says, wish my father stopped, passed with accidental overdose. I hear you, Jessica. I hear you. Yeah. Tramadol and ethanol. Wow.
Yep, that'll do it.
Hi, Tina. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Tina.
We got marshmallows here.
Yay.
Being here. We've got Tanya as well. Hi, Tanya.
Hi, Tanya.
What,
my friend Thomas. Hello, sir.
Thomas is here. And hey, Aldo. Thanks so much for being here.
Hello.
And Anna is here as well. And Marshmallow says, yeah, I love happy endings. Tanya Scott, by bringing issues into the light, we heal others. Hello. Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely do. And the fact that you're so open about it, that's like one of the many things that I love about you, Karen, is that you're just so open and willing to share your story. And you never know who that's going to reach, right?
Yeah, I've been lucky enough because I am so open about it to over the years to have people reach out and ask where they can go and what they can do. And it's I know some people are very private about that sort of thing, which is absolutely fine. Like everybody's got a different way about themselves. And I just, you know me, I'm open about everything. So I'm not a shy person.
That's what I love about you. Like how open you are. It's like, it's amazing. And I think we need more of you in this world to be so open, right?
Well, sure. If I can help at least one other person have what I have, then that's what it's all about.
One thing I just want to tell everybody, while Karen and I were kind of backstage before this came on, I noticed the timing when we're supposed to start said 333. So that is just a number for everybody today, the 333, because we were starting in 3 minutes and 33 seconds. So definitely take a look at that and see what that means. I just feel that there's a special message there for everyone. So I want to just thank everybody today for being here, and especially Karen for sharing her story. And Lisa says, another beautiful morning with Soul Treats. Thanks for your support, Lisa. I really appreciate it. And tomorrow we will have Annie on at 11 doing her readings and guidance. And I really appreciate everybody being here. The donation link is at it's pinned at the bottom of the page. If you'd like to send a donation, any amount, like I said, this donation will go to people who are in need of funds. We decided not to do a charity, but I feel that when people need a little bit of extra help just to get them ahead, we should definitely send some stuff their way. So thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful Saturday. And thank you again for your support on Soul Treats.
Thanks, guys.